All right, welcome back into Sports Drive, everybody. Joining us now, the former WT volleyball assistant coach, Casey Shingler, and the new UTSA head volleyball coach. Casey, thanks so much for making the time. I know you kind of told me you guys are in the midst of the moving process right now. I imagine you're kind of in right now, just kind of sitting in the empty apartment. Is that right, or the empty home?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The house is all packed up and in storage. So it's a bittersweet feeling, that's for sure. But there's this is part of the profession. This is part of how it goes. But if I wasn't feeling this way, that tells me I didn't do it right here at WT. And so just taking it all in as it comes. And yeah, we'll be ready to get out tomorrow.
Absolutely. We'll start. I want to start with the decision as a whole. Just talk to me about the last few weeks, last even couple months, what the process has kind of been like, what the decision process was like, how it all came together, and take me through those moments.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to understand, this profession because things happen so quick, So within this last month, there's been, a lot of, it's like a roller coaster. One day we're celebrating a conference title in the box. The next week we swept Metro State to go to the Elite Eight. So on riding these highs, and then we have to get back to reality because we got to, the travel and the prep, and then we get to the national championship and we win the whole thing. And then after that, we've got to get the girls back into school and their finals and all that. So just this roller coaster that has been kind of crazy, but it's been accredited to how Kendra and our relationship is. We've been able to go through this pretty matter-of-factly, and so she knew that I had some aspirations of continuing this journey and seeing where we could take it, and she's been a huge supporter of that. So when it came time to kind of make some decisions, we went and had breakfast and we talked for a long time. And we sat there and we said, I think this is the one. And so, gave each other a big hug and we said, all right, what's our next steps? And so we just started the transition of getting things, ready for the next semester for them, but then me starting the transition to get over to UTSA. So it's like I said, it's been bittersweet because you're you're so ingrained and I'm so deeply rooted here. I've got, some of my closest friends and people that are just so dear to my heart here in Canyon, America. And so leaving them is tough. But I am excited to get down to San Antonio and get started with those guys. A lot of what they do there reminds me of what we've been doing here at WT. And so yeah, this last month's been kind of crazy, but I think we did it the right way. And I thank everybody for their support and how it's been going.
Yeah, and I think, from the bigger picture, a lot of people from the outside kind of look at it and say, of course that would be the decision that is made. Of course you'd want to go from being an assistant coach to a head coach. It's a natural progression and it's a natural kind of move and step up. But and especially at, a school like UTSA, which, is Division I and everything like that. But I think that it's harder for people to understand, the inside of that, which is how it's more difficult of moving. And people just look at the natural jump and the job aspect of things and don't look at kind of those human elements that are at play too.
Yeah, it's and that's the part where we got to have kind of some thick skin is we've got to prioritize, what matters to us. And, for Canyon and for the Amarillo community, what has mattered over the last 6 years is the people. Volleyball has always been there. Volleyball will always be there. There's no question. But it's really the people of this community that made this place a home for me. I'm originally from Tucson, Arizona, and although I miss my family dearly, these guys, here have become an extension of my family. And so that is a piece that, yeah, I'm not quite sure, the outer side, the outer circle sees. But when you let them in the type of relationships that we had, they definitely were understanding of the why. And that's what I appreciate the most is because, I think over my 6 years, it was like 100 and some games that we won. And so it seems like that's the right thing, but it doesn't make it easy when you're leaving some of your close friends and people that supported you when we were in bad times and when we were in good times.
Absolutely. What were those initial kind of interactions and conversations with UTSA like, and how did it all kind of come together?
Yeah, through the process, we have to have. I call them like non-negotiables. You've got to have your things that matter the most to you. And when I thought about what WT provided, and then where I wanted to go next, UTSA met those. And so the head coach, Carol Price Torek, she's a longtime friend of mine. We were connected back in Arkansas where my coaching career started, and so getting the opportunity to work with her back then, and then the opportunity to stay well connected when she took her head coaching career to Bradley. It was one of those things that was pretty seamless. And so when she called, she says, "Hey, I see you guys were able to bring WT back to where it was, and that's what we're trying to do here." And she really talked about the community and the support, behind UTSA. She's got some kiddos in her and her family as well, and so I think the family aspect is a big deal for me as well. And so when we really dove into what her vision was, that's where I said, okay, I think this might be the spot. And then they're moving to the American Athletic Conference, and so replacing University of Central Florida, replacing Houston, and replacing Cincinnati. And so as we move into that league, there's this going to present new challenges as well. And I'm a sucker for a challenge, and so that was intriguing to me. So although, like I said, bittersweet to leave this place, I am excited for the new challenges. And once UTSA came about, it checked off all those boxes I was looking at.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned the past 6 years you've spent at WT. What do you feel like some of the biggest things you're going to take away from, what you learned, whether it be from, from Kendra and from your time here overall?
All of it. A lot of people like to, directly point at the national championship. Yes, that's a big one. 25 years, we brought it back. It's great. But really, I think the journey is where it solidified itself is after the 2018 season when there was the coaching change. We had to look real close at ourselves as a program and say, what do we need? And that's where I'm really thankful for Michael McBroom for bringing Kendra on, because he saw exactly what the program had, and he was allowed me to give some input to what we needed at that time. And so when Kendra got in, her and I had some conversations, and it was grateful. So that's going to be a core memory of mine at this time, is when Kendra called and said, "Hey, I want to bring you back on." The girls, they vouched for you, and the community vouches for you. So that was the big one. And somebody asked me this the other day, and I think every time that we got like a big commitment out of a recruit, that's like our Super Bowl. We're so pumped about it. And I remember Kendra and I used to be in an office across the gym, and she called, she says, "Hey, so-and-so just committed." And we met in, the box in the middle of the court and just jumped and high-fived each other. And so little things like that about the journey are some of probably the most memorable. But I'm going to miss the practices. The box is a special place. But when you get 20 girls in there they're okay being hot and sweaty and working through 3 shirts at practice, those are definitely times I'm going to miss. But the Natty is definitely a big one. The conference championships, but more importantly, it was just looking up, and the day-to-day interactions are definitely some of those things that I'm going to take away, and hopefully we can apply it at UTSA.
Absolutely, Casey. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I think, for everybody that's a fan of WT Volleyball, thank you from the community for everything you've done for that program. And we hope you have a great time at UTSA, and it's everything that, WT was and even more for you. So I wish you the best of luck there, and thanks for your time on the show as well today.
Real quick, before I go, Buff Nation, if you get an opportunity to go see this program next year, go do it. Whether volleyball or not, these are some of the most athletic, talented, high-energy girls that you're going to see on the court. Go see them, because they're going to be something to watch.
All right, Casey, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Best of luck again at UTSA. We'll talk to you again soon, hopefully. Maybe see how you're doing once you're down there. We'll be right back to close things out on Sports Drive after the break.